Hey there, everyone. This is Kylie Larson with 4011 Learning, and we're here today with Tina McMillan and Cheryl Euling, fellow tutors of mine, and we are going to be talking about summer learning today and how to reframe that for parents in a way that makes it feel doable. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is really you guys are the pioneers of the Student Success Squad. And so thank you for letting me join you today. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're so glad that you're taking the lead on this because you have a great topic for us today about reframing summer learning. And it's really an important topic because it's that missed opportunity that some parents kind of miss.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the reason that we miss it sometimes is we tend to look at it in extremes. So it's either our kids been in school all year, we all need a break, kind of nothing mentality, or it's like a do or die. This feels so overwhelming and it's scary. And so when things are overwhelming and scary, we avoid them. So I think our purpose today is really to put parents at ease more and give them some ideas on what they can do over the summer that is not so daunting and scary, but definitely doable for them. So, guys, what do you think parents misunderstand the most about summer learning? And Cheryl, I'll let you start first on this one.
Absolutely. And I think I even had a misunderstanding of that when my kids were little. But as they grew up, I thought, oh, I missed a whole summer. We could have been working on this. What were we thinking? I think the missed opportunity is to keep the kids actively engaged in something academic. My children, we live on a farm, so they were either outside playing or I was taking them to sporting events. And that was kind of their hub of activity where they could be with their friends. So I really wanted them to continue to be nurtured with their friendships. But I think the misunderstanding about the summer learning is it's a missed opportunity. And then also that people think it's boring. It doesn't have to be because there's so many great opportunities out there waiting for your child, whether it's one-to-one tutoring, small group tutoring, or just going to the summer activities at the library or doing things like that. So yeah, I think the misunderstanding is that it's boring or it's not important.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. Tina, what about you? What do you think parents misunderstand?
Oh, yes. Well, definitely being a parent as well as everybody else here. Summers definitely can be overwhelming. Like, oh no, the kids are going to be bored by day 2. You know what I mean? So what are we going to do? How do we keep them entertained? Like, well, I kind of want to reframe that, kind of going along with our title of our presentation today, and look at it as you have more time to look at things that maybe they like to do as opposed to being on the screen. So maybe find a topic that they enjoy and just blow it up and expand it into maybe reading about it, making a project about it, drawing a picture about it, painting something about it, building something about it, making an experiment about it, like kind of testing it, you know what I mean? And it's a way to give them some more, because I come from the social skills kind of point of view perspective. So I'm always trying to think of ways that we can give them skills that they can use the rest of their life and they can practice over the summer for the next year coming up. Maybe they're going from an elementary school to a middle school, or maybe they're going to a high school, maybe they're just starting school. Like it's any step, any grade has its own challenges and expectations, and also going back to social skills, like hidden rules, like what's expected of you, and maybe talk about your own experiences with your kids, and they can say, well, hey, I lived through it too. You know, it happened to me. It happens to everybody. Do you know what I mean? So you can kind of share those experiences as well.
I love that. And I love that concept of like the digging deep into one topic, because that is so wonderful in like building kids' background knowledge, which we know is really important to them comprehending what they read and what they're able to learn.
Right.
So
And
I
we have
love
a
those.
computer. We can even look up what they're going to be studying the next year, get a jump on it. So when they're actually studying that unit, they might know a lot of it already, and that's going to build their confidence in the classroom. And it might
That's
make
a
it easier for
great
them to write
idea.
a test. They already knew half of it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a great idea. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. I love that. So I did want to share with parents a little bit of research, because the latest research on summer learning, um, it tells us some things about summer learning that maybe we didn't know 10 or 20 years ago. So a lot of families are doing what they need to do for summer learning. I think I saw that it's about 50% of kids that lose that 1 to 2 months. So, it's not every kid. A lot of kids are doing the things over the summer they need to be doing, because I think you can incorporate it into daily life pretty easily. And then actually math takes a little bit of a stronger hit than reading, because if you can keep up your reading over the summer, you're going to maintain your fluency at least. But those math skills, that's a different ball game. So Tina, I'll let you start this time, but putting yourself either as the tutor or as the teacher, what kind of gaps do you think tutors and teachers see in September with kids that maybe have not thought a lot about learning over the summer or social skills?
Well, I know in my experience, when I get the kids starting back again in September, it's like their brain has been wiped over the summer. Everything that they learned up till that point is gone. It's just like, what? What's a verb? What are you talking about? I never heard that word before. You know what I mean? So, and they'll push it as long as they can, right? It's in there somewhere. It is in there. You just got to draw it out of them and do some, I'm going back to real life examples and try to practice things. And in terms of math too, I think there's so many correlations between math and reading, because just look at a word problem. I have students that are in grade 7, grade 8, grade 9 that struggle with word problems. They don't understand what the question is asking them. And they don't understand what sum means, like SUM. They don't understand what difference means. And those are skills that can translate to different fields, like even science, English, math, and science. I think they're very closely related because the language that they use, you have to be able to understand it to know what you're doing. You know what I mean? If you don't know how to make something like a science experiment, what if something goes wrong? Somebody could get hurt. You know what I mean? Hopefully I'm not doing stuff like that, but do you know what I mean? You have to understand what you're doing, and then that's how you build on it, and you can generalize from that point as well once you have the basics.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good example, because if you think about sum and difference in a 7th grader, they've been using those terms since kindergarten. So that's just such a great example of how many times students have to interact with information for it to just really become a part of their own vocabulary. So Cheryl, what do you think? What do you think tutors and teachers see come September if we haven't thought about summer learning?
Right. And it's interesting that you're saying September, because where I live, kids are back already the first part of August. So I'm going to reframe it as August, in early August.
We go in August. We go in August too. I just figure they're teaching all those procedures those first 2 weeks.
Yeah. So past procedure teaching in the classroom, I can reflect back to my years in the classroom and just go, okay, we don't remember how to sit in our seats. We don't remember how to hold our pencils. We don't remember how to raise our hands. We don't remember how to take turns. But then we also, for content, when you said reading fluency, that was the first thing that went into my mind, because, we would have to build fluency. We're going to read for 2 minutes today, uninterrupted. Everybody's going to pick up a book. We're going to read. And I'd have kids that were not reading after 10 seconds. So just really getting the ability to maintain concentration, I think, is one of the most important things, to be able to concentrate and attend and not interrupt. If you're continually doing something with somebody, whether it's a tutor or you're attending a program where somebody else is in charge and you're having to listen to and follow instructions, you're not going to lose that skill. And when kids are, and I don't want to say that they're being ignored, because I never felt like I ignored my kids. I did allow them to just go and play, but sometimes it was kind of hard to get them to come back and focus and attend to the things that we needed to do and to follow those instructions. So having some sense of a learning plan over the summer, I think, is really important. Whether you hire somebody to help you or whether you do it yourself, I think just staying in a routine where there's some expectations at home, where we're going to do this, 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 and this during the summer, I think is going to really help your child level up and be ready to start in the fall.
Oh, that's great. That's great. This summer I have 3 kids. My oldest is turning 10 Friday, and I have 7-year-old twins. And so last summer I just made a flat rule: no tech until 2. And they had a checklist. Here are all the things that you have to do also before you get your tech. So, and it was play, it was create something, it was your chore. You know, they have 1 chore a day. Those sorts of things. Read for a certain number of minutes, and then they could unlock their tech at 2:00. And so it just set that expectation. It's not coming out until 2. That TV, tablets, anything.
Yeah.
All right. So since we talked about reading skills and math skills, Cheryl, you can speak to either if you want to, because I know you've actually tutored both in the past. But what do you think are simple ways parents can try to maintain some of those skills over the summer?
Yes, absolutely. You know, it's really interesting because I used to be the math guru at school, and then I gradually changed over to the, you know, working with reading and writing and all of those things. And I remember way back in my early days thinking, why don't these kids remember their math facts? I'm certain that they learned these last year. And then we would, as the year goes on, I still would have a, you know, probably 50, maybe 60% of the kids that didn't know their math facts. And while I don't really concentrate directly on math right now, speaking from past experiences, I think math is a big area where parents need to consider getting some support.
Mm-hmm.
If your child is behind, don't ignore it. And so if you don't have ideas, find somebody that can help you. But some things that you can do at home is just go and get some games that you can play that are math related. And then something as simple, and this is something I did in the classroom all the time. Ask any of my former students. I literally had handmade flashcards because I wasn't going to go spend $10 per box on flashcards or whatever it happened to be. It probably wasn't that much, but it was enough that made it feel like it was $10. And then I made these huge game boards and had the kids kind of, you know, either find the game pieces or decorate them, or sometimes they would even make the game boards depending on the year and my situation, you know, amount of time. And then in order to play the game, you would have to turn over the flashcard, whatever skill you were working on, answer the question, then you could roll the dice and take your turn. If you didn't get to take your turn. That is something that is so simple and really underrated. So you can make a flashcard a lot of fun, but there's a lot of things online that you can do. So if you know they're unlocking their video time at 2:00, then maybe they can hop online and do some virtual flashcards as well. So I think math is definitely something that you don't want to ignore, but also the reading. Again, don't ignore those reading skills. And if your teacher said your child is behind, this summer is the perfect time to get caught up. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I agree. I know if parents Google math games with a deck of cards, there are a ton of things you can do with a deck of cards or dice with math.
And,
So
and even if you, and for the summertime, you're going to the beach. How many things can you count on the beach?
Right.
Can you group together on the beach? Like there's so many things. You can play an I Spy on the beach. You know what I mean? Like, and you can say I spy 7, I don't know, 7 people in
bikinis that they shouldn't be in.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever, whatever. You can make it whatever, and that's math, and you're done. You don't even feel like they've practiced their math. You know.
Exactly.
So, and if I only have 7 bikinis and I have 10 people, what do I do? Like, you know what I mean? Make it silly.
Yeah,
you know
and think about those times you're in the car with the kids. Perfect moment to play games or practice facts. And Tina, did you want to speak any to like social skills or like focus and organization over the summer and maintaining those sorts of things?
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you're traveling. I know maybe we're not traveling as much as we used to with the economy the way it is, but anywhere you go, you're going to meet new people, and that's going to have its own set of social skills. You're going to meet to see different cultures. You're going to experience different foods. There's lots of ways to practice social skills. Perspective taking, you know, I have this game we use a lot. It's called In Your Shoes. So you can pretend you're wearing or actually putting on someone else's shoes, ask that person a question. How would that person answer if you were that person wearing their shoes? You know
Oh,
what I
I
mean?
like that.
It's
I
kind
like
of fun.
that.
You could say with little kids wearing their parents' shoes because they have fun walking around in them because they're so big and clunky. And you can say, well, okay, what's your name? And then they would say, well, if they're the dad, maybe my name is Robert, you know, and I work at, you know, the kids pretend to be their parent. And it's hilarious because especially that's one way I like to get the parents involved too, because then they have to try to fit their feet into the kids' shoes and then try to be them. It's really funny.
That is a
And it's so
lot of
much fun
fun.
that they remember it. And then you only have to refer to it. Oh, remember in your shoes, whose shoes are you wearing right now? You know what I mean? Because it's there forever. They'll remember
That's
that forever.
really good. I'm a little nervous how my kids would behave.
I know it's
They were
scary.
in
I didn't say it wasn't
person.
scary. It is scary. But then you kind of find out things that maybe you wouldn't have found out otherwise, which
I'm
is kind of
sure
a good
from their
thing.
perspective. Yeah.
Better to know than to find out, you know, in the middle of a school play later on. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? My mom said I didn't have to do, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, you know? So better to hear.
Yeah, I always tell my kids' teachers, I'll only believe half of what they say about you if you only believe half of what they say about us.
I'm taking that. I love that. I love
That's
that.
good. That's good. Well, let's talk a little bit about what type of students um, moving toward needing the support, like you said, with especially with math, but I definitely think with reading too, with all of it. What type of students do you think parents need to think about that one-to-one support, maybe with a tutor over the summer? Tina, what sort of situations do you see where you encourage your families to maintain support over the summer?
All right. Well, my first answer to that question is all of
I
them.
know. Yeah,
Everybody.
yeah.
Everybody needs help, either whether because they're falling behind or maybe they want to get ahead of something
Hmm.
that they could potentially fall behind on that they maybe need a little extra explanation, especially if they're going into like a new school, a new grade level that they're going to throw algebra at them that they don't know what that is. But then you can maybe introduce it to. Not saying that you have to be, you know, a math whiz like, you know, like Cheryl is. I'm not a math whiz. Math was my least favorite subject growing up. Absolutely. I could spell like
I can
nobody's
tell you,
business.
Tina, I'm a math whiz up to 5th grade.
Oh,
After that,
okay.
my skills are
Oh
limited.
no, the secret's out. The secret is out. Oh no. No, I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, I'm just saying, yeah. Just I think all students can use help in something. Do you know what I mean? And like we said, like reading can cover so many other barriers or can contribute to so many other areas that they're struggling in math. Maybe work on the reading. Maybe they're not understanding the wording, understanding the question. If you don't know what the question is asking you, how are you going to answer it? It's not possible. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
yeah. Very good. All right, Cheryl, how about you?
I just really feel like anybody who feels like their child has any kind of they're feeling like they're behind. They've heard that their child is behind or maybe not reading at grade level, because right now I'm really focused on the literacy. So it is the perfect time to get help because, you know, whoever your tutor is probably going to do some sort of an assessment and take all the information that you give them and create a one-to-one plan that's going to move your child forward. And especially when we're thinking like those transitional years where you're going from like you're learning to read, now you're using the reading. So that kind of happens between 2nd and 3rd grade. And
Yeah.
the kids that are already behind, they're thinking, oh, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to continue to learn how to decode words. And that's no longer the case. Now they should
Yeah.
know those skills, and now they're reading for understanding and writing their thoughts. And if your child is behind, it's only going to get harder. So the
Mhm.
benefit of having summer tutoring is that you can really move them forward by, you know, even scheduling 3 or 4 sessions a week, short periods of time, and you'll see rapid improvement. But it's got to be at a level that the kids are ready for. So like, let's say that your child is going into 3rd grade, but they're still reading at a 1st grade level. We might still be working at a 1st grade level to boost them and get them closer. So I think kids that are behind, but I am not going to discount kids that are ahead, because kids that are ahead, they are ahead of the class. They're like way up here on their reading skills and their literacy skills, math, whatever skills they're doing. They like the challenge.
Mhm.
So maybe you just want to keep them academically, you know, involved in something, and you're just going to be like, yeah, we're going to sign them up because this is good for them. They'll stay way ahead of the class.
Right. And for the kids that are ahead, you can teach them how to take notes. You can give them skills that they're going to use later on that they can start practicing now. Or looking at a paragraph, you pull out what's the most important thing that this paragraph is telling you. What are the key words? Like they don't necessarily, I'm sure they do spend time of it in school, but if the kids don't get it right away, they've moved on. And then they're like, well, wait a minute, I didn't really get that. And a lot of times they don't want to say anything. So they don't want to look like they're stupid. They don't want to feel like they're being judged by their peers. So that, I always tell my kiddos, I'm sure you guys have as well, that if you ask a question, I guarantee at least 5 other kids in your class have the same question as you. And you're not just helping yourself, you're helping them too. Because they may not have the courage that you are showing to ask that question. It's huge. And that carries on through life. Like if you don't understand something, how often do we just like, oh, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And then you waste so much time trying to figure it out when you could have asked for help, and then you're done. Move on. Go on to the next thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I for those kiddos that are ahead, I think of things like creative writing or STEM. There's lots of STEM opportunities out there that would be really engaging for all students, but especially for students that have the basics and the foundation down. Now, as far as students that are behind, just for a little research, the National Bureau of Economic Research has said that one-to-one targeted tutoring is the single highest impacted intervention you can do for a child. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I know another reading tutor that has collected data on her students, and she pretty much guarantees she can take her students and grow them 2 years in 12 sessions.
You probably can. I think it depends on the student's cognitive ability, because I have some students that would not cognitively be able to do that. So I don't like to make the promise that that's going to happen. But what I do say is I give real life examples of students that are very successful after less than 3 months of tutoring. And really all kids will grow quite a bit in 2 to 3 months of tutoring, and especially if it's targeted. Absolutely.
Right. And the advantage for us giving one-to-one is we can also give the one-to-one to the parents to help them. We're not there because we're only there for half an hour to an hour at a time, maybe only once a week, maybe twice a week, maybe more. So we're only there for a limited time. So we can always give them, homework. I even give some of my students homework to do for the next time that I see them. And I explain it to the parent why they're doing this, what the idea is. Because a lot of times kids will bring home homework and the parents have no idea what they're supposed to do. It's not really explained as well because they weren't sitting in the classroom where it was explained, right? So then they're just like, I don't know. And you can misinterpret something and then it could be completely wrong, even though they're trying to help.
Tina, I do that too. I will always say in between the time that we meet again, this is what I would like you to accomplish. And 9 times out of 10, they'll do it because they see the value in it. And then they see that their child will definitely advance quicker. But parents get busy and sometimes that doesn't happen. So I have to expect that as well.
Right. I think of my own son, and I can give an illustration of kind of the importance of summer learning, because I'll be the first to admit I dropped the ball in his younger grades on that because he doesn't like to listen to his reading specialist mother on how to improve his reading.
Ditto, same problem.
Yeah. So he would start every year, and just a little background, like the way our system sort of rates the students and where they are in terms of grade level expectations is you have like red, which needs the intensive support, yellow needs some support, green is right there where they can get the grade level stuff, and blue is enrichment.
Blue's a blue jay. They're going to fly off and go do their own thing.
Yeah. So my son would start every year at red, and he would climb and crawl, and by the end of the year he'd hit green. The beginning of the next year, red.
Yes.
And so we did that 2 summers, and I said no more, that we cannot do that anymore. Even though I tried, I did not have a structured appointment to make it happen. And so I would drop the ball a lot. And so this summer, guess who's doing one-to-one tutoring? All 3 of my kids. 1 will be doing more enrichment stuff, and 2 will be working on mostly reading. So Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So we've talked a lot about academics, and Tina, you have alluded to this a few times,
What?
but
I did not. I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
you did it so beautifully too.
Oh, okay. Then I did it. Okay.
Non-academic experiences for kids during the summer that are really beneficial for them. What kind of non-academic experiences you guys think? And think like free experiences and things that might cost a little money. Anybody want to start on that one? Because I can't remember where I am and who
Oh,
goes first.
I just thought of one, so I want to say before I forget it. So
Okay.
a lot of our families have siblings, and they're going to be spending more time with those siblings over the summer because they're not in school in separate classes. So what about having projects where the older ones teach the younger ones something that they've learned, and that
Mhm.
helps both of them? Because if you teach something, you generally have to have a certain level of knowledge to be able to do that, and also to see it from the other child's perspective. So it's perspective taking. That's two things so far. And then the younger child learns something that will help them when they go back to school that they maybe wouldn't have known right away. And it might trigger memories when they do actually learn it. It's like, oh yeah, my older brother Bill, he told me that already. I already know this. This is so easy. You know what I mean? How come you don't get it? They might get a little cocky because of it, but whatever. They're learning. So that's what we want to keep those synapses going, and the whole brain plasticity and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's
yes.
beautiful. My daughter, who does struggle in school a little bit with reading and math, she wants to be a tutor like me. I want to tutor, Mom. And I said, well, let's find a younger child that you can tutor. So her younger cousin is going to do some tutoring sessions. And it's funny because they did one just the other day on the phone, and my daughter was like, Mom, she's not listening very well.
Yeah, they learn.
Yeah.
Perspective taking, they learn what it's like from the other side. So then they might have a bit more empathy for their teachers, maybe. Like one
Yeah,
can hope. One
hopefully.
can hope.
Oh gosh. All right, Cheryl, what about you? Non-academic ways to um, enrich our kids' lives over the summer.
Absolutely. Okay, so I actually offered this a long time ago. I don't do it anymore, but I had an activity that was a freebie on my first website, planning a trip. And I literally outlined what you could do. And I said, summer's a perfect time to plan a summer trip. Get out your reference, get out your old atlas, find a spot where you want to go. We're going to go there. Now you go find everything that we need to know about going there. And of course, with the internet and everything, I would do this as a family. I would never set a child loose on the internet to say, go find information. But looking for information like, where could we stay? What can we do along the way? And one year, my family, we took a free vacation. The only thing that cost us, well, was food and lodging, but we stopped at everything that was free on I-80 going west out to western Nebraska. I live on the eastern side of Nebraska, and it was the best vacation we ever had. So look for the free things. Well, what's that going to do? It's going to teach them to stay in a budget, right? It's going to teach them to plan. It's going to teach them to make selections and stick with it. A lot of that decision making. They can even find the best place to get gasoline. But then let's think about around the home. You're not going anywhere. Okay, you have your old pots at home. Fill them with some soil and have them do some science things. If I put these seeds in now, are they going to be blooming or producing by this point? It said that I was supposed to plant it in April and it's July. Well, let's try it. Maybe it'll work. If it doesn't work, then what we should have probably tried it sooner. But maybe it's something like a lettuce that will grow, but maybe it will be bitter because we're eating it in July because it's too hot. Do some things like that. And then volunteering. I think that it's a huge missed opportunity for kids to learn social skills, to learn communication skills, and how to get along with people that are different from you by volunteering. So look for volunteering opportunities in your community.
I love that. I love that so much. My kiddos are wanting a clubhouse. So this summer we are having a lemonade and orangeade stand, and they're gonna do all the signs and talk about marketing and how we have to reinvest into our all of that sort of stuff. And hopefully by the end we'll at least have half of a clubhouse budget, maybe. We'll see.
Hi,
It's
Lee.
better than nothing. It's better than nothing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kylie, you need to read the lemonade more before you do it.
Oh,
It
yes.
is, that is just exactly what the kids were trying to do. They were trying to, well, they were having the two characters in the story are trying to have a battle to see who can win the most or earn the most money by selling lemonade over the summer. It's such a great story about a brother and a sister and a single parent. And I
Mm.
tell you, your kids will know what to do when running a lemonade stand.
Well, we are going to do that. We're going to read that book before school ends so that we
Perfect.
are ready to go. That's a great recommendation. I did not think about that. Thank you. All right. So I think we've covered a lot. So how about we share as a tutor, what are your plans for what you're offering this summer for students? And how can we get in touch with you if a parent out there listening is interested? Just jump in there. It's fine.
Okay, well, I can start. I can
Okay.
totally share. So in the past, I have done small groups, but what I found was number one, my parents weren't interested in small groups online. And so for me, it just wasn't a good fit. So
Mhm.
I am only offering one-to-one targeted support in reading, writing, spelling, whatever the student happens to need.
Mhm.
But what I find is most of my students end up being dyslexic, or they have ADHD, or they're suffering from autism and just have, this processing issue, and they just need a more targeted approach. So when my parents sign up, I say, okay, what is your goal? And then we plan out strategically how many times is it possible for you to meet, and we make a roadmap of what is this going to look like for you over the summer, and how is this going to benefit your child. And if you don't mind, may I share my website? Is that okay if I
Absolutely.
share the screen?
Please
Okay.
do.
Okay,
Please do.
awesome. So I just pulled that up. And so everybody spells my name wrong. So look at the screen. It does say that there. So you're invited to come over to tutoringwithcheryl.tutorbird.com. And I have some free resources up there as well that you can take advantage of. And I've got like does your child have dyslexia checklist that you can go through in case you're worried. And you can see how my program works. And then you can also schedule a Meet the Tutor free session with me where I call you first. We have a phone conversation. I will call you right back. People are shocked by that. And then we meet in person and we do an online lesson to see if it works for your child. And I get probably 90% say yes to me. Very few people say no to me. And they're so happy with the service that they get, and the benefits that summer tutoring helps their child with. I can't even get my words out right now. But anyway, that's really it. So one-to-one targeted tutoring for literacy is what I'm offering this summer.
Awesome. Awesome. And we'll put everybody's information also in the show notes for this. So it'll be there as well. All right, Tina, how about you? What do you have going on this summer, and how do we get in touch?
Okay, well, I'm kind of expanding my business a bit because I've got quite a few students and it's only me. So what I decided to do is I'm going to offer group sessions as well. They won't be online. They're going to be one-to-one where I live because I have enough, the population can support it for sure, because I collaborate with a local psychologist. So we kind of swap out students and clients based on what they need. So I'm going to be offering like social skills classes, and for younger kids, for sure. The sooner the better. The early intervention really helps to build those skills for a lifetime. So group sessions for social skills, also for reading and writing and spelling. Those are the three things I find are, really, really lacking. And then if they don't get it, they just don't get it. And then it kind of snowballs. So they kind of need to I go back to basics and just kind of fill in the holes, stuff that's missing, but same thing that you guys do. And then also offering online courses for other tutors or teachers or people who want to become a tutor and work. I'm kind of focusing on specifically, I'm going to have 3 mini courses, one focusing on how to teach children with autism, one to teach children with ADHD, one to teach children with dyslexia, and then I'll have another maxi course kind of a thing that'll tell you how to do all that, and also how to start your own business and what the marketing is involved in with that, and how I did it. So there's many ways to do it. Absolutely, you don't necessarily have to just do it the way I did, but it might give you ideas that maybe you hadn't thought about before. So those are kind of the things that I'm working on next. So it's like a little crazy. I might have less hair if you see me again, or maybe I'll just wear a wig. That's a big thing. I think I would just start buying wigs. Oh,
Emily, what are
atypicaltutors.com. So atypicaltutors.com. I have a website and email and everything's on there. You can do whatever you like. Lots of resources on there also. And yeah, that's how you can get in touch with me.
Yeah,
And
remind us
Kylie,
again what region it is that you serve, Tina.
Yes, I live in Airdrie, Alberta. So it's in Canada. It's just outside of Calgary, Alberta. So if you heard the Calgary Stampede, I'm like 10 minutes away. So I have half of my students are in Calgary, half are in Airdrie where I live. I kind of live in a bedroom community. So a lot of people live here and then they work in Calgary because it's so close. So yeah, so I'm in Alberta, but if they're online, I can reach everybody.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. All right, Miss Cheryl, what were you going to say?
I just wanted to make sure that you didn't forget to share yours because as the host, sometimes we forget to do that. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tina. I thought you were.
That's okay. I thought I was too. Then I forgot to say my website. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I am offering one-to-one packages of sessions. So I believe, I don't have all of this ironed out yet, but I think it's going to be 8, 12, and 16, just depending on the child's need and their goals for the summer. We're going to be very flexible in my setup for scheduling. We're just going to kind of schedule as we go based on family needs and based on tutor needs. I do have a few other tutors with me, so we are going to be covering kindergarten through 8th grade reading and math and middle school and high school math, which I'm really excited about this summer. So that's sort of the setup. Right now you can find me at www. And I don't have to say that anymore. So I need to stop saying www. That was 20 years ago. You can find me at 40-11-learning.com, but I am rebranding this summer, and we are going to be the Student Success Collective.
Oh,
And
awesome.
it will be at studentsuccesscollective.com in August. So
Okay,
really excited
awesome.
about that too.
Awesome. Do you have a little post on your current website that says that you'll be moving over there to that?
Not yet. It's all in the infant stages of let me get through marketing summer and then I will start rebranding.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you guys, and thank you everyone that joined us today, and hopefully we'll see you soon for another Success Squad episode.
Thank
Bye
you.
everybody.